I'm Blue, and today I'll show you how I draw eyes and how you can easily understand them. I've never really done any eye studies before, and I don't really think it's super important for you to do them yourself. Here's how you can turn this into this. But before I get started, I would like to thank our sponsor for today, OperaGX. OperaGX is a web browser. Personally, I've been using OperaGX for a while for many different reasons. One being it doesn't blow up my CPU like some other web browsers. So it runs really smoothly, and you can customize it to your liking. OperaGX has this neat feature called GX mods. It lets you go in and change everything from splash screen, animation, and background music to keyboard sounds, to tap sounds, and even the font and icon of the browser, so you can customize it to whatever vibe you want. I teamed up with OperaGX to create this design for a GX mod. I sketched out the initial idea following their guidelines. I sent in the draft to OperaGX team, and they helped me finalize the sound effects and the visuals. You can download it for yourself if you'd like to see what I came up with. To check out mods, you have to go over to the GX store. They have many different options from cyberpunk to lo-fi, you name it. And if you don't see exactly what you like, you can actually go in and create your own. So almost like what I did. It's really easy to install, just pick one from the GX store, click install, and bam, it's on your browser. You can also just customize the ones that you have, so you don't have to keep the same sound effects. You can go in and customize all of these to your liking. If you're worried about losing bookmarks or other settings from previous browsers, don't stress. OperaGX has a quick import tool, so you can make the switch over without any hassle. So if you're looking for a browser that actually works and doesn't devour your CPU and has tons of ways to customize it, give OperaGX a try, and while you're at it, you can try my mod too. The link will be down below. Once again, thank you to OperaGX for working with me and making this video possible. Now onto how to draw eyes. First, I'll show you why. So let's talk about eyes on the face first. The face curves, so you're going to want to curve the eyes of the face. So kind of like perspective. If you don't consider that the eyes are attached to something curved, they can look a bit off. So here's a face that doesn't have perspective for the eyes, and here's one that does. As you can tell, this one looks more natural. An easy way I learned to draw the eyes in perspective is by using the figure 8. You can use the 8 to easily plan out where the eyes will go. So for example, this 8 is from the front and I draw the eyes on here, it's easy. And if I turn the 8 to the side for like a perspective and I add the eyes to where the 8 is, this makes the eyes look like they're under perspective. So if you learn to draw the 8 in different perspectives, you can easily attach the eyes to this. Here's a reference of the figure 8 in different perspectives with eyes attached to them, so you can practice this if you want to. So let's get into drawing the eye in this simple shape. The first thing that I look at is the two eyelids. I simplify them by drawing them as two lines that represent the upper and lower eyelid. So the eyelids curl around the eye, so if you look at a realistic eye, you can see that they're curved around the eyeball. So you're going to want to do this in the simple shape as well. So for example, if I draw the eyelid from the side, there'll be a curve to show that the eyelid is kind of curving, but I don't overthink it. I just kind of do like a little slight curve to the side for the eyelid. So for drawing the eyelid in different angles, here's how I approach it. As the angle changes, the lid line gets shorter, more rounded, and more angled. So here, as you can see, I've drawn them from front, and then I kind of turn it to the side. You can use this as reference if you want to, and then I also did it from top to bottom. So when you're drawing this simple shape, use a thick brush so you don't overthink the exact shape. At this stage, I'm not too concerned about the perfect details, I'm just making sure that the lines sit correctly where I want them to be. If you start your sketch off with more detailed lines, you are more prone to making mistakes. Next thing I will do is I draw the iris. So this is where the eye will be looking. I go in with a thicker line for the iris, and then I kind of just add it there, like a little square of where the eye is looking. So overall, the whole eye shape is like a T shape, as you can see. It's just like a simple line at the top, line in the middle for where the eye is. The shape of the iris changes as the perspective changes. From the front, it's straight. As it shifts to the side, it becomes slanted. This is because the eyeball is round, and as the eyeball becomes further away from the viewer, the less of the iris you'll actually see. You can draw the iris and then just erase the parts that are necessary to kind of throw it into the perspective that you want it to be. If the eye is looking down, you can make the perspective more slanted and erase the top. So you have the T shape and you just erase the top and the eye will be looking down now. A very important thing to remember is if the iris is not looking directly at the viewer and it's slightly to the side, the iris will be slender and slanted. So for example, here's a really cool thing. So if you have the eye looking straight forward from the side, it'll only be this like tiny little slit. That's because you can only see part of the iris. But if they were to turn their eye to the side, you'll see more of the iris. It's simple like that. When you're drawing two eyes that are looking in a direction, you're going to want them to be parallel from each other. This will help make the character look like they're actually looking in the direction, because you don't want one eye like slanted to the side and one eye not slanted to the side. Otherwise they're going to look cross-eyed. Unless that's what you're going for, then 100% do that. But this is how I determine how I want the eyes to sit. So now that you have everything kind of laid out, I go in and I add an eye crease, which is like just the top part and then the bottom part. This little line that I add, and then I add the eyebrow. So depending on the emotion, the eyebrow is going to determine how the shape of the eye looks. I think this is very easy. I also have a tutorial about emotions over here if you want to look. Yes. This is basically just the base of the eye. It's really, really easy to take and it's really simple to draw. You can see I'm just drawing like 7 million of them here on the screen. It's really easy, really fun, and it makes drawing eyes a lot less complicated. So now I'm going to show you what to do once you've laid out this simple shape of what the eye looks like. I go in with a thinner brush and then I outline where the eye is. So this will probably be a little bit more difficult if you don't know eyes that well. You could just use your reference for how other artists draw eyes if you want. I'm just outlining the upper lash line and I'm adding eyelashes and I'm curving the shape that I want. And since the pupil has already been placed out, it's really easy to draw in. And I just add some details and that's about it. It's really that simple. It's really easy. I think drawing the base is super important first for you to be able to do this more detailed step in the process. Another tip I can give you is when you're drawing the iris inside of the eye, so there's a little dot, you're gonna want to like remember that that is in perspective. So sometimes when they're all looking off to the side, this will be deeper in the eye, so you kind of want to shift the iris back a little bit. It just adds a little bit of depth to the eye and makes it a little bit more interesting. What I really like about the T-shape sketching is you can go in and do different types of eyes as well. It's not just like the simple one shape fits all. You can go in with like so many different ones because you can make it as simple as you want. You can make them big and round, you can make them like slanted, or make them very upset. Yes. So if you'd like to practice this, there's a reference sheet over here with each step that I showed in different perspective and angles. You can feel free to redraw these. You can feel free to trace these. You can use these as a reference for your drawings. I don't mind. The only rendering tip I will give you is I really like using the red color of the skin on the eyes because I think it looks nice. Yes, that's about it. Thank you so much for sticking around and for all your support. If you have any questions or opinions, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week since I am posting more regularly now. Yeah, okay, so bye.